Right now at 6, state of emergency.
It's disrespectfully hot. I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
The updated forecast that has the heat lingering even longer. Plus,
so I see 4 people on board. I need to see 4 life jackets, please.
Climbing aboard with River Patrol to see how deputies are working to keep people on the water safe. And later, the effort to save a historic house comes crashing down.
It sat here for 150 years, and it's just been torn down in a matter of minutes.
It is 98 degrees in the Rose City on your Friday evening, day 1 of a dangerous extended heat wave across the Northwest. Oregon Governor Tina Kotek now declaring an extreme heat emergency, mobilizing state resources to help with the heat. Everyone being urged to conserve energy during peak demand times right now so we can all keep those ACs and those fans going strong. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. Let's go right to team coverage, including Blair Best on how people are coping with the extreme heat. But first to Chief Meteorologist Matt Zaffino in the Weather Center now with our weather impact alert. Matt?
Yeah, that's right, David. And it is worthy of a weather impact alert because it's just hot out there, as you know, and it's going to stay hot. It's 98 degrees, even out of the golf course of Washington County, super hot. We hit 100 in Washington County at Hillsborough. Portland just missing out on that, but tomorrow we will not. We'll make it up to 101. 102 Sunday, 104 Monday, and 104 again on Tuesday. So the hottest days have shifted from what we thought would be Saturday, Sunday, now a couple degrees warmer Monday and Tuesday. It doesn't really make that big of a difference. The weather impact alert continues for those 4 days. And then mercifully, we drop back down into the 90s. 90s never look so good, right? So that's why we issue these weather impact alerts when the weather is at least inconvenient and at most dangerous and noteworthy like it is for the next several days. Okay, so now through Tuesday, excessive heat, as we've been discussing, what you need to try to do, stay hydrated, keep the water bottle handy, also keep track of your garden. It's going to need more water. Your pets, those water bowls are going to evaporate super quickly with this hot, dry air. And try to avoid strenuous activity during the hottest part of the day, say from noon to 5 or 6 p.m. when things are really cooking outside and inside for that matter too. In fact, look at our temperature forecast just for tonight. We're still near 90 at 9 o'clock. We don't really drop below 90 till about 8:30, 9 o'clock. We don't drop below 80 till sometime around midnight tonight. So again, the cooling will be slow with these hot days that we have, and then the short nights of early July. We just passed the solstice, so our nights are as short as they get, basically. So Portland, it says 98, but I think we hit 99, 100 in Hillsborough, 100 in Aurora, even had 90s on the north coast. Medford 109, blowing away its old record by 7 degrees, which has stood for 98 years. So this is a widespread heat wave covering all of the Northwest, including the coast. David?
No matter what the numbers say, it is downright hot out there. Thank you, Matt. Let's bring in Blair Best now live in downtown Portland. Blair, Multnomah County is also under a state of emergency, and you've been talking to people trying to stay cool.
That's right, David. Today is day 1 of this heat wave, and earlier this week it was unclear if Multnomah County would be opening cooling centers. Well, today they opened 3, just as people living on our streets are starting to feel the impact of this heat. From the banks of the Willamette River.
Just trying to get ahead of the heat.
Drinking cool liquids and staying in the shade mostly.
To the streets of Old Town.
Water, a lot of liquids.
People in Portland try and escape the heat. These two, both homeless, rely on a sliver of shade.
As long as I'm not standing still in the sun, I'm all right.
He's gonna have a heat stroke out here.
Earlier this week, Multnomah County declared a state of emergency for dangerous heat starting Friday, and at noon opened 3 cooling centers.
I don't even know what that is. Just an air-conditioned place?
Exactly. Emergency shelters for severe weather. Like here at the Cook Plaza off Southeast Stark Street in Gresham.
We want people to come here, use this resource. It's open for anyone.
The 2 others that opened Friday, both in Northeast Portland.
I think it's crap because they should open one down here.
So what about those people living in a tent on the streets of downtown Portland, and the cooling centers are hard for them to get to? Well, turns out Portland Rescue Mission here off Burnside will be acting as a cooling center for the duration of the heat wave. They couldn't talk with us today on camera. They were working to get enough donations to meet the need.
It sucks. As you can see, I'm pilling.
Despite TriMet offering free rides to cooling centers, as a homeless disabled man, JT won't leave his site to travel to one.
Worrying about people coming by your camp and ripping it apart, stealing it.
Multnomah County outreach teams are working to find people like JT, who chooses his tent as his only defense from the heat.
Right now, I just keep the windows open and try to drink as much fluids as I can.
All right, now those Multnomah County cooling centers will be open until 10 o'clock tonight, and they'll reopen tomorrow at noon. At this point, it is unclear if they'll be open beyond that. David?
Well, based on the forecast, it looks like we're in it for the long haul through Tuesday. Thank you, Blair. By the way, cooling centers and shelters are now open in Washington County as well. In Beaverton, the community center on Southwest 5th Street is open 24 hours as a shelter for those who are unhoused. The city library in downtown Beaverton and Murray Shoals Branch Library are also open as cooling centers during regular hours and until 9 p.m. at the downtown library through Monday. In Hillsborough, the Washington Street Conference Center is now open as a 24-hour shelter. It's on the first floor of the TriMet Park and Ride Garage across from the Hatfield Government Center Max Stop. No one will be turned away there, including people with pets. Remember, TriMet rides to and from cooling centers are free. Stay with KGW for the very latest forecast and safety information throughout this extreme heat, however long it lasts. That's on air, online at KGW.com and on the KGW app. In your headlines, a burn ban is now in effect for Clark County due to the heat and rising fire danger. The ban means no large fire pits are burning yard debris. Outdoor grills are still okay, but fire officials are asking people to be extremely cautious. It is the same in Washington and Clackamas counties, and in Multnomah County, including Portland, all outdoor fire pit fires are banned, no matter the size. A suspect is in custody after a shooting in Northeast Portland sent a man to the hospital. This was around 9:30 last night on 61st Avenue near Rose City Park. That is where police say they found people helping a man who had been shot in the leg. Police say the suspect, 42-year-old Lon Woodley, returned to the scene and turned himself in. He faces an attempted murder charge. Authorities say the victim should survive. And Alaska Airlines flight attendants have reportedly reached a deal with the airline that would avoid a potential strike. Union members voted to authorize a strike back in February and recently held an informational picket. The Oregonian now reporting the union has agreed to a tentative deal on a new contract that would boost pay by 32% over the next 3 years. It would also compensate flight attendants for work during boarding time, work that currently does not count toward their pay. Voting on the contract reportedly begins later this month. And returning to the extreme heat now in the search for somewhere to cool off, Sydney Dorner tagged along with one local River Patrol team to get a first-hand look at the work they do to keep folks safe.
The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office has a River Patrol unit in charge of maintaining the safety of 110 miles of river, including Sandy, Columbia, and Willamette. This 4th of July weekend, they have their work cut out for them, with thousands of people coming to enjoy the water. Chad Diekman says being an officer patrolling the waters is a different ballgame than working the roads.
Say a deputy were to do a traffic stop on the road, right? All those cars are stopped and they become stationary. We're out here, the water's still flowing, the wind's still blowing, everything is still moving for us, right? So we don't operate in a stationary environment.
He's been a deputy for the Multnomah County Sheriff's Department River Patrol for 5 years, where only 2 officers on board one boat cover more than 100 miles of rivers.
Do you have your boater's education card? I do.
The River Patrol unit juggles a wide array of tasks, from stopping someone from jumping off a high point into the water to routine boat checks, ensuring people have a fire extinguisher and enough life jackets on board.
So I see 4 people on board. I need to see 4 life jackets, please.
Some boaters say they're glad to know there are extra eyes on the waterways.
How are you guys?
Especially with all the 4th of July activities going on, there can be a lot of people drinking and a lot of people just not paying attention to what they should be, from boating safety standards to just taking care of themselves.
It is always good to have somebody out here just to give us refreshers of what we need to do, make sure that we are doing the right things, and just, staying safe. That way everybody can have a good and enjoyable time.
All right, I see your horn right there. Don't blow it, though. I don't want to hear that one.
Deputy Diekman wants to stress while it can be fun to be out on the water, it can also be very dangerous. The unit is also responsible for recovering people after drownings and say they see about 50 each year. He and his team are determined to get that number down and want people to know the essentials of boat safety.
Wear your life jacket and make sure we're drinking plenty of water and fluids, and have people just around, right? Don't be by yourself, but have other people around in the area to help keep you safe. And again, they can call for help.
Hey, you guys keep your life jackets on too, right? I love seeing it, man. That's a good deal. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Be safe.
Sydney Dorner, KGW News.
Staying safe out there. Sydney had her life jacket on as well, right? The team had 2 extra patrols out on the 4th of July. They're hoping for extra staffing this weekend. That may not happen. So once again, they're urging folks to be extra careful in, on, or near the water. Well, if you can't make it to the river or lake, you can check out a local splash pad. The sound of that just makes you feel good, right? We stopped by this one at Beaverton City Park. It was packed with families trying to enjoy what for many is a long weekend while staying cool at the same time.
We're doing all right. We've just been thinking about trying to get the kids somewhere where they can cool off.
So far, so good. I mean, it's really hot for my kiddos, but it's okay. They like it.
I'm warm, but I'm from Palm Springs. I'm here visiting family. It's about 120 there, so this is feeling great.
I guess it's all perspective, but she's used to the dry heat, right? Low humidity. We have a full list of splash pad locations along with cooling centers. They're up right now on KGW.com. By the way, with temperatures soaring, 4 of Portland's 12 public pools were unavailable to kids and families looking to cool off today. The Montevilla Pool and Pier Pool in North Portland were both already closed for maintenance issues. Then, according to the Oregonian, today the indoor pool at the Southwest Community Center was forced to shut down due to an HVAC issue. It sounds like too hot inside the building. And there's more. The Selwood outdoor pool had to be closed after someone had an accident. Yes, that kind, in the water. Well, good news. The Oregonian reports that those 2 pools are set to reopen tomorrow.